Our boy, man! Our boy is finally back. Seeing Ichigo just flying in on the battlefield and literally hearing, like, the song number one playing, like a remixed version of it, playing as he's coming through the sky like a freaking missile. And he just, dude, it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's so good. The song and Ichigo's return, man. It's such a good feeling. Like, I've talked about this in the past, but just like, being able to see Ichigo and hearing his theme song once again after, like, all these years is such a magical experience because, yes, we now know the song is obviously in the Thousand Year Blood War, the new anime for Bleach, but just hearing it actually again in modern day is just, like I said, it's a magical experience because so long, many of us just, like, gave up hope that we were ever going to see the continuation of Bleach's anime, and just seeing, Kurosaki Ichigo back, and, like, having number one playing all that, him here to save the day, is just such a good moment, and him here also trying to save Kenpachi as he's, like, down, lying on his back. I just think that, there is a lot to just really just get hyped up for, because, I mean, he's having to protect this very strong individual. I mean, he clearly is still wearing his eye patch. If he took off his eye patch, he'd probably be incredibly powerful, but it doesn't change the fact he can't move right now. He's been injured beyond repair, so to speak. And he's also worrying about another individual, aka Yachiru, which, I guess, let's talk about that first. Before I kind of really dive into the, the Ichigo stuff and all that, and, kind of what happened towards the middle and the end of the episode, I want to talk about just, like, Kenpachi looking for Yachiru, because, like, his big concern, at least at the beginning of the episode, was trying to figure out what happened to her, because he saw her, like, clothes on the ground, and, like, her, medal and all that, and he's like, where is she? And he's asking for her, because you gotta remember, the connection between Yachiru and Kenpachi is simple but very complicated, because they obviously they share, like, common ground with each other, because they've technically been together for a long time, side by side. But when you look at someone like Kenpachi and you look at someone like Yachiru, they're, like, completely different in terms of just personality. Like, obviously Kenpachi, he's a brute, he's really strong, and then you have someone like Yachiru that's like a chatterbox, and, she's cutesy and all this type of stuff. She can be very violent, so to speak, but overall, just her personality is definitely different from who Kenpachi is. And so, seeing, just, like, their connection over the course of years and chapters, episodes, it's interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic between the two characters, and the first thing that he does after the fight is try to find her. And as soon as he finds her, like, clothing on the ground, he's worried, because obviously the last time he saw her was, like, when he put her down, and, like, she had her bones basically broken and turned to cookies. And that's really worrisome, because even if that, power was lifted off of her, her bones were still shattered. So what happened to her? Where is she? Who took her? Etc. These are a lot of questions that you start to wonder, and Kenpachi is obviously incredibly worried about her, and he's really just focused on that. He's not really focusing on fighting, etc. He's worrying about her, which probably led to the whole, like, him getting absolutely defeated in this episode. Like, I guess he wasn't absolutely defeated. It's like, he was distracted, and he just didn't know what to do. There's a lot to really take away from it, and it just shows the bond between the two characters, and it makes you wonder, like I said, what happened to Yachiru. Anyways, let's move into just, like, the Bambi Squad, or, the, just Ichigo versus them. I love the personality. They're so eccentric, they're so different, and I'm gonna say that the voice actors definitely hard carried these characters. Like, don't get me wrong, I like them. They're great characters. I love their fighting styles. But the VA work that was on display within this episode is actually just insane. Like, the deadpan, unserious character, to the very cutesy, girly character, to the one that just seems very stoic and all that, and someone that is powerful, and then you just have this one that's kind of like a delinquent. There's just, the voice actors really nailed the characters and gave so much life to these characters that have been obviously voiceless for a very long time, because, we were waiting for the anime to come out. And just to hear all the VAs just putting in this tremendous work, just shout outs to them. They are really doing some godlike VA work. They are the underappreciated gems of anime. I feel like, VAs just do not get as much appreciation as they should, because obviously we're always either talking about the story, we're talking about the art, we're talking about the animators and stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should get credit and all that, but I feel like VAs are just not talked about enough for just how much effort and work they put into so many scenes that we just find iconic. Like, I mean, to get a little bit off topic here, which is still staying on the topic of VA work, let's just think about, like, Dragon Ball for a second, or let's say One Piece. There's many iconic moments throughout those stories that just I don't think would be as emotional and as just, like, it wouldn't resonate with anime fans if it didn't have the voice acting either through the sub or the dub accompanying it. And I just think that, once again, VAs really are just underappreciated, in my personal opinion. But anyways, getting back on topic to the actual episode, I do just love, like, how Ichigo comes in and he starts to fight these, like, pretty much magical girls. Like, they have a full-on magical girl transformation. Like, look at this. Like, it's a full magical girl transformation. You're not gonna tell me when this is animated and when this was written by Kubo as well, like, he just did not have, like, magical girl in his mind. And it's just, this also goes into a piece of history with just, like, anime and manga as well. It's like, magical girls are just a staple of anime. It's just a piece of history for anime, and you always see references to, like, iconic series like Sailor Moon, so to speak, or, Monica Magica, and just seeing these transformation sequences, it just, as much as, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Magical Girl, I just always enjoy it because it just, once again, it's like those nods to just the classics. It's kind of like when you see a character doing a Kamehameha or whatever, trying to prep an attack. It's the exact same thing. It's just really funny. But, anyways, yeah, just seeing this whole Magical Girl transformation sequence had me straight up laughing because it's like, they all have their unique designs, and honestly, it goes pretty hard. I really like these designs in their own way, and I like the wings, I like the skeletal wings, I like the bear trap wings, and then you have this very fluffy, heartsy looking wings. Just, they all have their very unique designs. And then I also like, how we have, like, the lightning type, effect right here. I really like this, which, oh yeah, I guess I need to talk about the two elephants in the room, as you can see on screen. The animators were really down bad. They were really down bad for this episode. Like, there was multiple frames, just like, of just different POV perspectives of certain characters throughout this episode. I'm just like, yeah, you can tell the animators were having a lot of fun while, animating and drawing this episode, which is hilarious. It's always funny to see, because you can always tell when you watch a show, especially when it has, let's say, fan service in it, just, like, what scene gets a lot of attention, or what animators are kind of sliding in something, like, subtly. And obviously it's not really subtle, but there is multiple just frames that just have, like, straight up, like, fan service moments, and I'm just like, yeah, you can clearly see just, what they were focusing on, or certain animators are focusing on. Which, by the way, speaking of that, oh my goodness, so we need to talk about, like, this scene at the end here with, like, with Orihime, when she reappears and all that. Like, Orihime literally comes into frame and all that to save the day, and what makes this interesting is her design has been... I don't even need to say. I legit, I don't think I need to say anything, but anyone that has been, like, a Bleach fan for years probably has seen, like, the color cover of Orihime with this outfit on, and at long last, we're getting to see this outfit of Orihime in the anime, and it's, once again, you could tell the animators went extra hard for, certain scenes. But, anyways, I'm gonna just talk about, this scene at the end, which has, Ishida pretty much becoming a turncoat. Honestly, everything about this, it's a very fascinating. I don't want to dive too into it because of spoiler reasons, but, like, we gotta remember from Ishida's perspective of what's really happening here. He's a guy that's all about family, Quincy's, against Hollows, against Soul Reapers, etc. It's a long history with his family we've seen for a very long time, since the very beginning of the story, and he's in a very complicated situation. It makes you wonder, because of this sequence of events, is he actually evil? Has he really become a turncoat? Is he just doing things things because he wants to change things within. There's a lot of questions, but Ishida going off and doing his own thing, it makes you wonder, is this really the end of their friendship? Because, FYI, as a reminder, this is the final arc, the final arc of, Bleach. And because of that, you got to remember that anything can happen. Characters can die and be gone permanently. Friendships can be broken. Reveals of maybe a potential betrayal can happen, which obviously has happened. This could theoretically be the last time that Ichigo sees Ishida, or this could be the last time there is some form of friendship between the two, and they have to potentially fight to the death. There's a lot of ways to look at this, and, when this scene came out, there was a lot of discussion around it, besides obviously the memes and the stuff with, connections to Naruto with, Sasuke and all that. There was a lot of things that happens, like, is this really going to be the end of their friendship? Because this is the final arc. So anything could potentially happen. But it's a very emotional moment because anyone that does remember these two characters, like, Ishida and Ichigo's relationship, it's emotional seeing the man kind of attacking him, striking him down, and even kind of going for a death blow to hit Ichigo in the face. It just shows that he's willing to stand against them and he's not backing down. So yeah, there's a lot to really take away from that. But anyways, overall, great episode. Absolutely great episode of Bleach today. I love seeing the different designs, the return of Ichigo, getting to hear the music again. There's just so much greatness. I can't wait for next week, though, because, next week is a recap, I think, actually. Oh, yeah, that slipped my mind. I want to talk about. So, apparently, I was hearing this from James and others, that we're getting a recap, and then we're going to have, an hour-long episode. So, if that really is true, and we're going to have an hour-long episode of Bleach, that's insane. I'm really just so happy nowadays that modern anime has kind of become more prominent with, making hour-long episodes or specials. It's always happened here and there, but it's definitely become more common in the recent years. I think it can all really just stem back to probably Demon Slayer to a degree, and then now with recent times, thanks to Oshinoko and just how great that first episode was, a lot of anime are starting to pick up that, people really do like longer episodes, people like movie-length episodes, and people want, enough story to be able to look at it and understand if they want to continue watching or not. And I think having, the next upcoming episode or whatever, episode 2 weeks from now, being an hour long is definitely going to be amazing, especially the content that is going to be within it. But I'm going to leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.